My name is Beatriz, and I will be your restorative yoga instructor for a couple of classes. So, a little bit about myself. I have practiced yoga for years now. I would have to say about like 5 years or so. But it has not always been very easy for me. When I first did my first yoga class, I hated it and wanted to be out of that class as fast as I could. But after a couple more classes, I ended up doing with another teacher. I've been going to different studios. I truly fell in love with yoga. I think it is the best practice for self-awareness and for self-love that this is something that you can do for just yourself. So when Crystal asked me to go ahead and do a couple classes, I was absolutely thrilled. So this is going to be more not full yoga. So don't everybody get all up in arms thinking you have to go ahead and put yourself in a pretzel. That is not what we're here today for. This is going to be more of a light restorative, more mobility, and kind of getting in tune with your body and seeing what you can do. And all of these little stretches that we're doing, you can do anytime, any place. You can do it for 5 minutes, you can do it for 10 minutes. If you want to take an hour, that's great. But these little things, you don't have to go ahead and sit and do every single thing in order. Little takeaways, little stretches, things you can do throughout the day when you wake up in the morning, before you go to bed. These things will go ahead and help move your body and also feel better about yourself, because some days you'll be able to go ahead and do a lot more or be able to stretch a little bit more, and that's all because of the work that you've been putting in. Those 5-10 minutes and everything, that's what counts. So let's go ahead and get into it. Each one of these classes is going to be centered around a theme. So this theme is going to be a more opening kind of theme. I wanted to go ahead and just start off on the floor. So there won't be any standing or balancing or anything on this class. That will be for potentially next week's class. But for today, it's going to be a very light mobility kind of session. Okay? Quick little thing. I know this is probably going to be most of the intro and everything, but I just want to let everybody know I am a big proponent of props, things to make poses and stretches more accessible to everybody. My husband, he has back issues and he's done these poses and he's been able to do these things with blocks. I tell him all the time, use the blocks, use this, use your yoga strap and everything. And it has helped him with his back pain. So don't think of these as like, oh, I'm making it easier for myself. No, everybody is built differently. My husband's 6 foot. He can't reach the floor like I can at 5'1". So blocks are a big helper if you want to get more height with anything or just want a little bit more stable ground. Not necessary for our class for today, but handy to have if you want to. The next thing I have is a blanket. Because yoga mats typically, some are very comfortable, some are a little too squishy. I like to go ahead and just have a blanket around. You just put the blanket right underneath your knees just to help with that support. My knees aren't great all the time and everything, so being in like a kneeling position, you saw me switch out. Being in a kneeling position does kind of hurt them a little bit, so putting a blanket underneath softens it a lot and really helps out. So we have the blanket, and last but not least, a pillow. Everybody has a pillow. Pillow is great for whenever we're laying down. If you have neck pains, lower back pains, grab a pillow, pop it underneath you. Whatever helps you be more comfortable in that position. The point of these stretches is to stretch not to cause pain. So the biggest thing that I will go ahead and preface as well is that when you're in a yoga stretch or in a regular stretch, there will come a point where you're stretching, it feels good and everything. We don't want it to cross into causing severe pain. That's somewhere we don't want to go. If you're feeling some discomfort, maybe pull back a little bit. If you're feeling okay with the stretch and it just feels like it's stretching, great. It's all about finding that edge. I am not a medical doctor, so please make sure that you listen to your primary doctor. Make sure that you are able to go ahead and do all these stretches. If you start feeling discomfort or anything, please go ahead and talk to your doctor, stop doing the exercises, reach out, and we can definitely adjust. There is a ton of modifications you can do and a lot of different ways you can do certain stretches and poses without having to do the exact same thing. And we'll go through them all. I will be going and pointing out some modifications in between. So if you're feeling great today and you want to try and do something a little bit more, I will add those. If you're feeling like today is the low, slow day, which is fine, then I have some modifications for those too. I think that's all of my intro and everything. So let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to go ahead and start on our knees. I'm going to go ahead, inhale. Bring your arms up to the sky. Exhale. Go ahead and have your right hand grab your left wrist. Gently pull to the right side. You're going to feel that side bend stretch. Just hold it here. You can go ahead and look up to the sky, look straight ahead, and then bring it back. We're going to go again. Inhale, and then exhale and bend. We're going to mix it up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and kind of open and close our chest. So we're going to tilt, and you're going to look down, and then look up. And then again, tilt, down, and up. One more time, down, and up. Bring it back to the middle. Exhale. Go ahead, inhale again. Go ahead and grab that left wrist with your right hand. Go ahead and left side stretch. Hold it. Now you don't have to go super deep. You can go ahead and just do a slight slide. Just make sure that you're keeping your chest open. Arms are right by the ears. Back to the middle. Now we're going to go ahead and open and close. So we're going to go ahead and stretch. Down, open. Two. And three. Now, if you guys are not fully versed in yoga, that is okay. I will be explaining some poses. So I'm gonna go ahead back into the center of my mat. We're gonna go ahead and go into child's pose. So in child's pose, you're gonna be on your knees. Your feet are gonna be flat. Toes will be touching each other. Slightly part knees. And you're gonna go ahead and reach your arms out in front. So essentially your chest and your stomach should be laying over your legs. Excuse me. Inhale. Exhale. Now, child's pose is one of those poses that it can be considered a resting pose and it can be active. So what we're going to go ahead and do and make it a little bit more active is we're going to go ahead and reach up on our fingertips. So have your hands out and just prop them up. Just back up a little bit. Probably see it better here. So what you're going to do is just prop up your fingertips rather than laying them on the floor. So go ahead and prop them up. 1, 2, 3. Going back. Rest for one breath. Next, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna bring our arms to the left side of our mat. You're gonna keep down, so you will feel that stretch over in your side. So keep your hands on the floor for right now. Inhale, exhale. Now we're gonna go ahead, fingertips up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Go ahead and bring it back to the center. And go ahead and go for the right side. Inhale, exhale. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead, fingertips up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Bring it back to the middle. Inhale. Exhale. Now we're going to go ahead, come up on all fours. Now this is going to be a little bit different. So what I want you to do is bring your hands up a little bit more and let your hips sink down. So you're kind of essentially laying on the lower half of your body is laying on the mat, and you're propping yourself up with your hands. So I like to do this stretch just to go ahead, move my back a little bit. Make sure you're not just sinking into things. Make sure you're activating your hands, arms, and shoulders so you can do a nice stretch. If this is too much for you, we can go ahead and do a little baby cobra. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders and go ahead and just lift up slightly. If you're someone that has back pains and everything, lower back pains, it might be easier to start off with this and kind of work your way up, because you can go up until you get to this. All right, we're gonna come up on all fours again. On your right leg, we're gonna go ahead and just do some hip circles. So bring your right leg up and just circle them around. I know for a good couple months, I would notice my hips would crack every time I did this, but now they are loose. Okay, go ahead and switch to the other side. Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and do a couple of leg lifts. So you're on all fours. Make sure that your hands and arms and shoulders are all stacked. When I say stacked, I mean they are all in line with each other. So you see how my wrist is right here by my elbow, my shoulder, all in line. Not like this, not here, right in the middle. This will go ahead and kind of protect ourselves from getting things out of line. And like I said, make sure that you're activating everything. We are not letting our body just have at it. We want to go ahead and help. So for our leg lifts, we're going to go ahead, use our right leg, and we're just going to lift it up and point to the back. What I want to do after now is tap to the left side on the outside of our left. And back down, tap. So, get a better picture of what's going on. Arms are stacked, legs here, arm, tap, tap. And we're going to do this 5 times. and then bring it back. The most important with that is engaging your core. For years, I didn't know what engage your core really meant. I thought it was just something people say. But when you're in that like down on all fours, what you want to do is just tuck in your tummy. So you want your belly button to kind of try and reach your spine. So essentially when people say like suck it in, that's kind of like engaging your core. That's a good place to start. So, because we don't want to overexert other parts of our body, our core is meant to go ahead and stabilize ourselves. So when you're on all fours, it's all about stabilization. So let's go ahead, do it with the left leg. So go ahead, bring the left leg up, bring it back. Same thing. Go ahead to the right side, back up to the left. Left, right. 3, 2, and 1. All right, now this is where the core work is going to come in. We're going to go ahead and do extended arm and leg. So there are a couple modifications for this one, so I will start with those. If you are someone that has some back issues, you can go ahead and keep your legs on the floor and just go ahead and use one arm and just keep it up from there. If you're having shoulder arm issues, you can go ahead and just keep one leg up. The goal is going to be to keep both one arm and one leg up, and they're on opposite sides, while keeping yourself stable. So making sure that core is engaged, arm is extended outward, open, leg is pushing back. So however you want to go ahead and imagine, if you're kicking something in the back, having a line that goes straight from your hand all the way to your leg. Imagine that to keep you straight. Make sure you're not dipping your hips in and out. Make sure they're square. Okay, let's go ahead and try from the other side. So we're gonna do left hand out, right leg out, and go ahead, keeping those hips square, core is engaged. Just have that imaginary line just going straight through you. Keep it for another 3, 2, and 1. Very good. All right, starting to get that sweat in now. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and come to a wide-legged seat. This is where you can go ahead and adjust. I can go ahead and sit very wide today. Maybe your wide today is this, whichever one you feel comfortable with. So go ahead, sit out, make sure you're nice and tall. Breathe in and exhale. We're going to go ahead and just do some shoulder rolls right now. I'm going to loosen up those shoulders. So bring them up and down. And go ahead and reverse. Okay. So depending on wherever your legs are, go ahead and put your hands in front. And what we're going to go ahead and do is just going to reach forward. We don't want to cave in. We're not doing this. We don't want to do this. What we're doing, we're keeping it straight, and we're just kind of gently mobilizing the hip. This action itself is a lot on your pelvis. So keep it slow. You don't have to go very deep for you to feel something with this one. Keeping everything nice and straight. Like I said, hands on the floor. And we're just going to pulse for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Okay. Next, we're going to go ahead, and now we're going to go ahead and stretch over to the sides. So, wherever you feel most comfortable, you can go ahead and start with just coming towards your thigh, putting your hands on your thigh and just reaching for that. If you feel that you can go ahead and reach for your calves, great. Or maybe today's an ankle day. Who knows? Maybe you've been practicing this stretch in particular, and you can grab your toes. Go ahead and fold yourself over your left leg. The biggest thing that we might not know about stretching is that our breath allows us to stretch more. So when I say this, I mean when you go ahead and inhale and exhale, you are creating more room inside your belly. So you'll go ahead and inhale, and then exhale. You'll go down to that stretch. You are releasing more air from your belly and your lungs, so that will go ahead and allow you to have more space to come down for the stretch. Doesn't mean that you have to, but it is something that helps a lot. Now we're going to go ahead, walk your hands over to the right side. So remember, maybe today's a thigh day. Come right on over, and this is as far as you can go. That's great. We can work on it. A lot of people have tight hamstrings, quads, and when you're doing the stretch, you really feel it. So find that edge right here. Maybe it's when you're touching your calf, your ankle, or maybe it's your toes. Go ahead and inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and come into the middle. Bring yourself back up. And then bring the soles of your feet to the middle. You want them open like a book. Now, depending on your flexibility in your hips, in your quads, you can bring them as far in or out as you can. So if you want to go ahead and bring them out a little bit more and make more of a diamond shaped, tall diamond, that's fine. If you want to bring it as close as you can to your pelvis, also good. What we're going to do, we're going to have our hands come to our ankles, and you want to go ahead and strengthen and open that chest. So you're kind of pulling on your ankles, lengthening your spine. Inhale and exhale. Okay. We're going to go ahead and release the hands, keeping your feet in this open. Just go ahead. You can even keep holding onto your legs if you'd like, but you're not pulling. Go ahead and do some head rolls. Nice and slow. If you're someone that is on the computer or typing or kind of looking down at something for most of the day at work, these head rolls are fantastic to do in between breaks, sessions, or anything. Just taking a minute and just rolling your head. Go ahead and switch. Especially if you have tight shoulders, the head rolls will definitely help with any headaches or migraines that you might have, because of the muscles being so tight. This will help loosen it up. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and lay on our backs. Pause for a minute while I reposition. Okay, we're back. So we're gonna go ahead and lay down on our mat. And we're gonna go ahead and cross your right foot over your left knee. So you're doing a figure 4. And we can take this one of two ways. First way, we can go ahead and just simply lift that left leg up, keeping it flexed. We can go ahead and activate it a bit more and pull. Or we can keep this left foot down and just windshield wipe it down, so that right foot is on the floor. So whichever one you want to go ahead and work on today. This one is great if you're feeling tight and mobility isn't great. This is good to start off with, and just trying to go ahead and move into just bringing it down to the floor. Or if you feel great, let's go ahead and bring the arms underneath that left thigh, and you're just going to gently pull towards your body. You're going to hold it for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the left leg down, and we're going to go ahead and switch. So left ankle over the right knee. Same thing that you did on the right side, go ahead and do on your left side. So whether it was just coming like this, keeping that foot down, or if it was bringing it to the other side, or if you lifted it up, or if you grabbed. So you're going to hold, another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back down. Go ahead and just make sure you find your center once again on your hips. You'll go ahead and bring your right leg up to your chest. Hands will be on your shin. Go ahead and bring your hands on your shin. The left leg will come down, and the goal is to bring your knee into your underneath your arm. So go ahead and hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're going to go ahead and see if we can bring it over to the side. So notice I cannot touch my knee to the floor like this. So we're just going to go ahead and just let gravity help us. So this would be a great time if you want a block or a pillow. Go ahead and put it underneath and just allow it to rest. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to go ahead and switch. So the right leg down, left knee into chest. And we're going to hold. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to go ahead and bring it down. So depending on how far up you're able to go, you can use a pillow. To go ahead and support. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Now, this one is called Happy Baby because we're gonna kind of bring both our legs up. So 2 options for this. You can hold underneath your thighs if you can reach. If you can reach your toes and kind of like stamp your feet to the ceiling. So Happy Baby, you can just stay in this position and you can feel the stretch in your hip flexors. If you want to, you can extend the legs out. If you want to roll. The rolling definitely helps with the back. Massaging the back a little bit. Or you can just stay stamping the ceiling. We can go ahead and stretch out our ankles, do little ankle circles. All right, bring the legs back down. And this is almost everyone's favorite part of yoga, the Shavasana. The purpose of Shavasana is to go ahead and allow your body to take in all the energy, all the goodness of the yoga practice that you just took, and just allow it to be involved in your body. So it's a nice rest. Everybody thinks of it as, oh, it's your break or your rest, but depending on your practice, on your journey, the Shavasana could be a nice little rest after a hard workout, or it can go ahead and be a time for you to have your self-reflection, thank yourself and your body for doing what it was able to do for this class. It can go ahead, you can take that time and open your heart for the theme of our class. Open your heart, allow all that love that's in the environment around you with family, friends, supporting you on your journey. Allow that to be embraced into you. Or you can just call it a little break after your yoga practice. Up to you. That is it for our first class. It was a nice mix of moving around, getting to know me and how I like to go ahead and move things around. Next class, we will be doing a lot more mobility in standing and balancing. Go ahead, take a few minutes, take 5 minutes to go ahead and just rest. Thank you so much for coming and taking part in my class, and I will see you next week.